Hello, my name is Jacob. I was born in the Philippines, and at 2 years of age, we moved to Germany, where I made my first friends when I was a little kid, still in kindergarten, and like the first 2 years of elementary school. Then, from Germany, we moved to Switzerland, the Italian-speaking part of Switzerland, where I had to make new friends. When I was there, I lived 11 years there, and I went through the entirety of, I had to redo kindergarten, and then I did elementary school, middle school, and a little bit of high school there. A little bit because I had to interrupt and then move back to Germany. But while I was there, I flunked a year in high school, and then I had to change high school. And then I passed that year, but then we moved to Germany so I could finish high school, and then I did another high school again. So I've had to remake friend groups many times. And then after that, guess what? I moved to Italy alone, completely alone, for more school, where I had to make even more friends in a place where not only, did I not have friends, but I didn't speak the language as well. I was not nearly as confident in my Italian as I am in my English. And now I'm a lot more confident in my Italian. Then after that, I moved back to Germany, and now I live in Germany again, and now I don't have any friends here again. I need to make them again. But I have no trouble with that. I've been around the rodeo. I know how to make friends. I don't think I struggle with making friends, so I think I'm pretty qualified to speak about this, actually. And I know some people that know me in real life might want to be very contrarian to this, but that's just because, they might say, oh, well, Jacob, you don't talk to that many people. You don't have that many friends. Stop lying. But the reality is that I care about who's around me. I have standards. I don't like to have haters around me. I don't tolerate that shit. If anything, with all of the bad habits that I still do as I am on this journey of self-improvement, like a lot of people that, watch these kinds of videos and the new generation specifically, proud of you. If you are a dickhead to me, then you're out of my life very quickly. Now, some advice. First things first, you have to be yourself, not someone else. Be yourself, like unapologetically yourself. You know the quote, you gotta kill the part of you that cringes, not the part of you that's cringe. Because the part of you that other people consider cringe is just the part of you that isn't like everyone else. That's why it's cringe, because it isn't like everyone else. People are not used to seeing it, but you're being yourself, so I recommend you do that. To be clear, I'm not saying you have any enemies. You don't have enemies, but you can also choose who to keep around you. And if you can choose the people who are around you, which you can, like I just said, you can pick, and you'd rather them be people that are on your side and that like you for you, not for being someone else. So the first tip I can give you is to generally be yourself. Stop worrying about what other people think about you, because people are always inclined to be afraid because it's a survival instinct. It doesn't serve us as humans when you don't know, when you're afraid, and when there's unknown. It doesn't serve us to assume positive things of the unknown. It's always helped us, evolutionarily speaking, to be afraid. It is a very useful emotion, and people are gonna be afraid. So you need to be yourself, because people were gonna judge you anyway. At least if you're yourself, you're gonna be happier in your own company. And that's step one of making sure that you have a support system of people that are comfortable in your company. You need to be comfortable in your own company first. The second tip I can give you is to do a hobby. It is extremely hard, like I just said, to make friends randomly in public, because there's too many unknowns. You don't know anything about anyone in public, and frankly, with all the negative media, all the road rage, all the bad cops, all this stuff you see online, I mean, you know what I'm talking about. People are even more apprehensive about being social in public. Have you seen public transport? Everyone's constantly on their phone. Ain't nobody talking to each other, okay? Ain't nobody talking to strangers. Why would you? It's weird, right? Well, why is it weird? It's weird because it's considered dangerous. That's why we say stranger danger. It doesn't help you to assume people are going to be nice to you. Frankly, it's only helped humans survive to assume that whatever was unknown was bad. That ain't gonna change. It's part of our animalistic instinct. So first, not first things first, but the second tip is to make friends doing a hobby. So you ought to do a hobby. You know why? Because that takes away so many unknown variables already. There's still obviously a lot of unknowns because people don't just do the activity that you see them do at the place where you do the activity. But it takes away a lot of guesswork, because if you're in the gym, you know that the people that are in the gym have kind of similar goals. You're in the gym. If you do a sport, you know that the people that are there at your varsity team of soccer or whatever or not, all like soccer. So you have a point of connection. It's very hard to make friends when there's so many unknowns and you don't really know if you're gonna have any point of connection. When you do a hobby and you're at a place where people do a certain activity, like a book club or workshops or the gym, like I just said, or a sports club, you already have some touching points, where okay, objectively speaking, if we both train jiu-jitsu and I've seen this guy more than once coming to the gym, then it's safe to assume that we both like jiu-jitsu and we can use that as a springboard to become friends, to talk about that. So you gotta do hobbies. You can't make friends in public. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's extremely difficult to make friends in the random public. You need to be doing an activity. Third, you need to practice. It's what I had to do. The reason why I got so good at making friends is because I didn't have choice in these matters. I had to live off of my parents supporting me, so I couldn't just stay in the Philippines or stay in Germany or stay in Switzerland or stay in the school because I flunked a year or stay in Germany again or stay in Italy because I wanted to come back and see my brother. I didn't really have a choice, so I had to get good at this. You have to practice to get good at it, just like any skill. Making friends is a skill. One thing I can give you is a book to read, and it's called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And I'm not really gonna, in this video, talk about that book, because if you read the book, then you already know it. And people say, like, they preach the values of the book and what the book teaches all the time. So I wanna give you unique advice that I think is either not explicitly explained like this in the book, or just people just straight up don't talk about. I'm telling you as someone with experience, in the beginning, you shouldn't be focusing too much on trying to filter the friends that you do have, if you have friends. Because if you take the first advice that I gave you, which is just to be yourself, then you're gonna be much less likely in need of filtering your friends, because you're already yourself to begin with. So if anything, you're at least sure that these people like you, generally like you. Okay, that's a given. First, you ought to practice talking with people. Then, when you're actually confident in your ability to make friends, and how to actually make friends is reading the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. But when you're confident in making friends, then it is true that you need to learn how to prune. Okay, you have to. Remember the quote that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. It's weird because I feel like everyone knows this already. It's such a common thing to say. Hey, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, to make you feel better about yourself when you have less friends. And you think, oh, you know, I only surround myself with good people. Or when you surround yourself with poopy people and you think, oh yeah, well, you know, I need to cut these people out of my life. But the reality is this, you're gonna have to cut some people out. The fourth point I can give you is to, you know, this is the hardest part, and it's to block people. You gotta understand that it is not immature to block people. It is not immature to cut people out of your life. It is not immature to care for yourself first before you care of others, okay? Because if you don't take care of yourself, they sure as hell won't take care of you. They'll use you, you'll feel worse, and then you'll be a worse person. So you actually become a worse friend if you keep bad friends around. Hence, first take care of yourself, then worry about other people and what they think about you. If someone is being a hater and only makes jokes at your expense, and I'm not talking about the guy thing where men like insult each other but then tell each other I love you, man. No, I mean actual genuine haters that do nothing but hate on everything you do. Anything you do they say is cringe. Every time they have to insult you, you're always the butt of the joke. You don't need to be friends with those people, you know. It's not that deep. There's like 7 billion plus whatever people on earth. It's not that deep. You'll make new friends. You don't have to settle for that dickhead. You don't have to. I didn't. There's no need for you to keep a liability to your own mental health close by. We know that your mental health is the most important thing. So why are you willingly keeping a parasite attached to you when it's so easy to just rip it out? Especially nowadays, a lot of the time we don't even see these people that often. So imagine you just, if there's someone that is a D1 hater and you see him, let's say like once a month or something, and all he does is hate on you, just block him. It's so simple. It's literally so easy. You know, in the past, you had to like actually speak to people face to face, but nowadays you can just block people. Just block people. It's not immature. Take care of yourself first. And again, you gotta remind yourself there's like 7 billion people on earth. It's not that deep, bro. Finally, in conclusion, I want to remind you that it's better to have a few good ones, a few really good ones, than a lot of nobodies. Okay? There was a quote in BoJack Horseman. The loneliest feeling in the world is when everybody likes you, but nobody loves you. And you don't want to end up like that. You don't want to end up surrounded by people and feel more alone than when you're actually alone. Because, you know, when you're alone, you're comfortable with being yourself. So if it feels more lonely to be surrounded by people than it does to be alone, then you need to do something about those people you're surrounded with. They're not your people. All you really need is a couple of really good friends that then act as your support system, right? And this is particularly important for when you're trying to find a partner, a romantic partner. I'm telling you right now from experience that if you don't have a support system outside of your partner, it will hurt you. It hurt me. Trust me. Additionally, I also want to say that, you know, you probably do have friends, and the more likely outcome is that you need to practice cutting people out of your life more than you do actually making friends. But if you generally don't have friends, then I recommend taking the advice that I gave, because from my experience, it worked for me. It worked for me very well. I've always had new groups of friends, always different people. And I think I was pretty close with them. And I mean, I'm not that attractive. I'm not that funny. I'm not that smart. I'm not rich, not even close to rich. And yeah, I still managed. So you can, if you have any of those things. If you look better than me, you can make friends easier. If you're richer than me, you can probably make friends easier. If you're funnier than me, you can definitely make friends easier. So you can do it. You got it. We can all make it, man. Start being yourself again, unapologetically yourself. See how quickly the people that liked you but didn't love you leave because you start being yourself, which is different than what made them like you. And you'll notice that the few people that do remain, those are the real ones. And if nobody remains, then good. No one can hurt you anymore. And you're by yourself now. You'll feel less lonely by yourself than you do with this massive crowd of people that don't fucking like you. Then you can build a new life. I'm telling you, it's quite exciting. I've done it many times. It never gets boring. Anyway, I hope this was of help to you if you struggle making friends. And read the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And I'll see you in the next one. Much love. Bye, bro.